Today we'll be talking about the text split function, and we have our text we want to split, and we want to use semicolon as a delimiter because it's the right sign for us, the right CHAR. So in the second argument we are writing in double quotes semicolon. We can also add bigger, longer delimiters that are contains more than one sign. And when we split our text by semicolons, we get almost right result. But in our example, we want also first and last name to be in separate columns. So we have to also separate by space. And how can we do that? We can write an array in the second argument. So in curly brackets we can write semicolon, then it doesn't matter the order of these delimiters, and then next text, so in double quotes space and close curly brackets, and just like that we have proper results. But when we copy our formula down, the results aren't right. Why? Because in most cases we have spaces also in our street's name, and because of that we have much more columns, more than we need. So what can we do with this? We can split our text by first semicolon. To be precise, we will take the text before first semicolon and text after first semicolon. So we'll be using text before function. So this text and just semicolon, and we have text before first semicolon, and this text we want to split by space, so just space in the second argument. And okay, so I write the wrong sign here. Now we have proper results, and almost the same we will take the rest of our text. So text after, so A2 and semicolon, so after the first semicolon text we have region, street and number, so this will be splitting, like split by semicolon here, and in such way we have proper results. Too long, too far, and here also, and all data are in proper columns. And if you like to have just one formula for all your data, so you don't want to have one formula before semicolon, so before text and after text, you can combine those formulas, those arrays to be more precise, with HSTACK function. This function combines array horizontally, so in a row. So I will just write 1 and 2, and we see this function combine those values horizontally. And instead one I need this formula, so Ctrl C and Ctrl V instead of 1, and we can see first name, last name and the 2. Instead of 2 we want this formula without equal sign, and here in the place of 2 I'm pasting this formula, and just like now, like that, in one formula I have my splitting. Now we can go to the more complicated example. This time we have text that is divided by pipe and new line. So in one cell we have exactly 4 columns. So let's do it like this: 4 columns and 2 rows. How can we split text with TEXTSPLIT function to get this result? We have to closely look at the names of arguments. So first is text, and then the first delimiter is column delimiter. So when we see, for example, pipe, we will get new column, and when we see sign of new line, we need new row, and this is the third argument of TEXTSPLIT function. So this time no in curly brackets, but as a separate arguments. First I'm writing a pipe, so this vertical line, and then I'm writing new line, so CHAR 10, and this one closing parentheses, and I have proper results, just like that. But those aren't all of TEXTSPLIT function argument, because sometimes we can find ourselves in the situation where, for example, in one row there isn't enough delimiters to split by columns. So I will delete the last pipe, and just like that we will get an NA error in our data, and errors doesn't look nice in our results. So we want to write something else in those situations, and the argument that is corresponding with errors is the last argument, path width. So we want to fill those errors with something else, and this error occurs because in the first row we have 4 columns, so the max width of our array is established, and in the second row we don't have enough data to fill all the quota, so we have to write something more user-friendly. And now I will write something that we surely see. So in double quotes I will write something like this. It should be fine. We should see something like this, or eventually let's write null or error will be more precise. Okay, so we can see this is the value that was put instead of error. Okay, so this is the last argument, but we have also situation when we have nothing between delimiters. So I delete client, and now we see just empty cell, and maybe it's the correct situation for you, but let's assume we don't want to get any empty cells. In those situations, in the I think it's the 5th argument, we can no, it's the 4th argument, so this is the 4th, yeah, ignore empty cells. On the default we include empty cells in our results, but this time we want to ignore them, so in 4th argument we are writing 1 or 2. I prefer 1 because it's shorter, and just like that we ignored this empty, let's say, text value, and that means that in our first row we have only 3 columns, and in our second row we also have 3 columns, and thanks to that we don't see this arrow at the last column because the max width of our array was established as a 3 columns array. Okay, but we in real life we actually want this empty value empty cell, so we are writing here 0 or nothing, and we have the table like this, the array result like this. And we can see that I omit the fifth argument, the match mode, and it's about case sensitiveness. A text split function by default is case sensitive, but in most cases I'm not using actually letters as my delimiters, so I don't care about this argument, so I'm not writing here anything. But if you use any letters, if you use longer text, so more than 2 signs, more than 2 chars, you have to remember about this case sensitiveness about text split function. Okay, so I don't want here nothing, so I have proper result for me, but there is a problem because I have 3 cells with combined columns and rows, and I want to have the proper arrays for each of these rows. And when I just copy paste my formula, I will have to move those arrays in such matter so they will be in a proper cells. So once again, I have problems with stacking my results. So when we are stacking array, we can use, and this time because we are going by rows, so we are stacking vertically, we are using VSTACK function, and we just add next array. So this is the first array, then comma, the second array, and let's alt enter, comma, the third array. Let's write it like this, and I have just to change the reference to the cells, and this way is simpler for me than copying and pasting whole formula, whole cells, because in one formula I have all my results.